Master Wolf on BBC Radio Kent as one right now. 12 minutes past 7. All this week on the show, we're hearing from 5 new writers who have emerged as a result of lockdown. If you're listening last night, at this time, you would have heard from Karen Stanley, who's an established writer from Whitstable, who's been coaching 5 new writers as part of her Rite of Passage Growth Academy.
It's been amazing, and you know, I hope I've taught them a lot, but I've learned a lot as well, which has been incredible. And within the group, we've got 2 novelists, 2 children's writers, and 1 non-fiction writer, and a partridge in a pear tree. But you know, it's been the variety, and you know, the basic skills of writing can be quite uniform across the genres. You know, good writing is good writing. So having all of those different inputs and those different viewpoints and those different genres has been, it's been incredible.
Well, tonight we're going to hear from 2 of those writers to kick it all off. Fiona Schultz from Upchurch and Bev Bunn from Chatham. Really great to have you both with us here on BBC Radio Kent. Fiona, I'll start with you. Thanks for being with us tonight. Good to have you here. Hello.
Hello, Dom. How are you?
Really good. And, you know, I think we got, didn't we, from last night listening, and what you guys must have got from Karen too, is the passion and enthusiasm that she has.
Yeah, totally. Karen's been passionate from day one. She got us all hooked in straight away.
And, you know, I wonder whether for you that beginning point was not quite like, I want to be a writer. It was something different. And this was kind of hinted at a little bit last night on the show.
Maybe. Yeah, I joined Karen and the girls just for a bit of company, really, in lockdown and something to do. And I love learning. So she was teaching us all the basics and back to school type stuff, really. So it was a bit of a shock when she asked how far I'd got with my book.
So you never, in your mind, you never thought, right, I'm just going to write, you know, I'm going to write and write and write. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to publish a book, which you're going to hear about on the way.
I think I thought about it, but I didn't really plan when, and the weeks sort of passed, and then she asked how far I'd got. And shock.
In terms of what you do for a living, I mean, both you and Bev have really interesting jobs, and I thought I'd start with yours. So you're an owner of a company, a rejuvenation clinic.
Yeah, it's called Microblading and More. Basically, it's aesthetics and skin rejuvenation. So eyebrows, eyeliner and lips, and just trying to get rid of those fine lines and wrinkles.
Don't look at me too closely on this Zoom call right now, will you?
I'm not. Don't judge.
but is that interesting about the fact that writing was always something else, another part of your life? Was it something you just brought forward?
Yeah, basically. I did have an idea of a book a long time ago. And then the crocodile book sort of came to the forefront. So,
shall we hear a part of your story, Crocktails?
Oh, go on then.
Okay, first time it's been heard, I guess, anywhere.
Yeah.
All right, here's a passage that Fiona Schultz has kindly read for us. This is Crocktails.
For 5 long days, this frolic went on. The hatchlings playing, just having some fun. All of a sudden, there was a loud crack, and back to the nest, the little crocs scurried back. Over the edge poked 7 curious snouts, watching as egg number 8 rolled about. Their jaws dropped open, their eyes were wide, as the egg fell apart and showed its inside. Cowering there, the smallest croc ever seen. Tiny body, skinny short legs, nose like a runner bean. His nervous eyes saw his sisters and brother, and he thought to himself, where is mother? Croc crept cautiously out of his egg, kicking off the shell stuck to his leg. Attempting to smile, he let out a shrill squeak, the only noise possible from such a long beak.
And what was it like creating those kind of phrases and words? Because lovely wordplay going on right there.
It was quite funny, actually. I started it off and wasn't quite sure where it was going to go. And I'd started writing the story before I realised it was going to be in rhyme. And then I quite got into the swing of it and liked it. So, it was tricky at times. Bit of wordplay.
From one children's author to another. That must sound weird, me saying that out loud as well. Author. Beverly Bunn is with us from Chatham. Hello.
Hello, hi there.
Really good to have you with us. You're in your occupation, you're a glass artist. Tell us about that, Bev.
Yeah, that's right. I've been a glass artist for about 15 years, following a career in engineering and HR. So it's a bit different, but I've always had a creative side, and I've got a studio at my home in Chatham. So it's all
about fused glass, kiln formed glass. I don't have any hot molten glass on the premises. It's all quite safe.
Good to hear. And what about working with this incredible group? Because it seems to me that it started off as an idea that Karen had when she, found herself in the position of being made redundant, October 2020. And Karen Stanley says, "Oh, I think I'm going to do some writing, and I think I really need to continue my 10 books now and think about how I can help other people." So the Rite of Passage Growth Academy was born. What was the attraction for you initially?
Well, initially, I was put together with Karen through a mutual contact, Zoe Cairns, who you probably know, and because I'd had an idea for a children's book, but I had no clue where to start or whether I'd be any good at it, because I wasn't, frankly, brilliant at English at school in the days of O-levels. I was more maths and science, so hence I went into engineering. And so it was a bit scary, because although I like writing as an adult, I guess that there was that hangover from lack of confidence as a teenager that I wasn't good at English. So I had a chat with Karen before she got made redundant and just picked her brains. And she said, "Oh, I've got this idea in my head about starting an academy to help people just like you. I started to be very interested in that." So when she set it up, I think I was probably the first one on the Zoom.
Isn't that amazing? And that kind of reaction of just getting someone saying, "Do you know what? It's okay. I can help you with that." It's such a lovely, lovely thing. And then that's what the arts is all about. It's not about saying, "What have you done?" It's about saying, "How can I help?" And I think that's what's really interesting. And Bev, we want to hear from your story then, a second children's story tonight. And this is when Harvey met Chester. Can you tell us a bit about the background to this, of some gorgeous dogs here?
Yeah, so they are my actual dogs. And Harvey is the older dog. He was 7 when we got Chester, they're both schnoodles, which is Schnauzer crossed with a poodle. And I think Harvey had got quite comfortable being the only dog. And I could resonate with that because I'm an only child myself. And I'd always wondered what it would be like to have a sibling. And Harvey basically found out the hard way what it was like to have a brother. And when Chester arrived, I set them up an Instagram account because I just thought they were hysterical. I found them really funny. So I started writing their Instagram posts from the point of view of the dogs. And basically that's how the book translates as well. So the book is written from the point of view of the dogs, occasionally from the point of view of the cat, and occasionally myself, my son, or my husband.
Let's listen in.
Well, that was a bit sudden. One minute I'm tumbling about in the puppy pen with my 5 litter mates, and the next minute I'm bundled into a plastic prison with a metal grill at the front and loaded into a car. I thought I'd been kidnapped. I knew it was a mistake to appear too keen when those people arrived. Thing is, I just can't help myself, and everything seemed like such good fun at the time. So when the one they called Ellis sat on the floor by the pen, I trampled my brothers and sisters in a mad rush to see what was going on and stood on my mum to get a good look over the edge. My little paws and my nose just about reached the top, and I squeaked my cutest puppy bark at him to let him know I was ready to come out and play. He hoisted me out of the pen and placed me in his lap, so I scrabbled my way right up his chest to reach his face and give it a jolly good lick, and maybe a little nibble of his earlobes and his hair. Ellis started laughing, so I continued with the licking and the nibbling and added a bit of sniffing and pulling the neck of his jumper. This seemed to go down well. Little did I know I'd sealed my fate.
You're both getting a little insight into my mind of what music should go along with your stories.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so that was Chester when we went to pick Chester out. So yeah, it's been such a joy to write this from the point of view of the dogs, because I'm sure anyone with pets looks at their pets and wonders what they're thinking. So I obviously just made, I'd say I made that up, but I'd actually say, no, I just typed it out. They told me what to write.
Do you know what? I can quite believe that. Fiona, it's interesting to think about how you've all gone on quite an interesting journey together. We're going to hear from other authors later this week with different genres. Has that been something, Fiona, that has helped you too, that you're able to work with other people?
Yeah, it really has helped, because when I was doing the rhyme as well, Karen always says just brain dump it. So you just write everything and then try and figure it out later. And the girls were brilliant at sort of saying, well, that doesn't quite go there, and turning the verses round a little bit, and bits I couldn't quite see. Third parties could see it quite clearly, and the ideas were brilliant that came through.
So when you then bring this together and you're part of this group, and then you find yourself in this very week heading towards, very closely, November the 27th, where there's going to be an author event at the bookshop in Rochester, where you're going to go along and you're going to actually get people to buy your book. I mean, that's crazy to share that experience, to be part of that. Beverly, that must be really just blowing your mind right now.
I can't tell you how excited I am. I am excited for myself, but I'm also excited for everybody else. Karen said yesterday, we've all got copies of each other's books, and it genuinely has been such an excellent journey to take with other people that we are just as equally thrilled for each other as we are for our own books to see them. And when mine was actually loaded onto Amazon, which was a couple of weeks ago in half term, a friend of mine ordered it, sent me a Facebook photo and said, I've got my copy. And I said to my husband, I haven't even got a copy, because the author copies take over a week to arrive. So bless him, he actually ordered one, got it sent to the post office around the corner from where we were staying in Weymouth, and gave it to me.
That's kind. I like that. But yeah, absolutely. You know, no, the authors, I know this with all those interviews we do, very often I've seen it before they have. And they're like, yeah, I've seen the draft. I didn't have the actual book yet. You've got it in advance. Fiona, all of you coming together then, being part of this, is this a start for all of you as a new career, an extra part of your life? And where do you see it all going?
I don't know about a new career as yet, but I definitely would like to write some more. I've had some feedback from people about the book and what I could use it for. And I think if I could use it for sort of a learning tool and a therapy tool, then maybe I'll write another one or two, maybe.
The same for you, Bev?
Yeah, I have had people saying to me already they can't wait to see what the next adventures will bring. And like any parent who's had to read a bedtime story, because my book's for slightly older age group of, like, say, junior school age children who might be reading themselves, but quite often they have a bedtime story. The feedback's been great because parents are finding it funny as well, which was partly my intention, having read so many stories as a mum.
Look, it was so lovely to hear those stories out loud tonight. Thank you for being with us. Fiona Schultz, Croc Tales, a story written in rhyme about a lonely crocodile searching for a loving group of friends after being rejected by his own family. And Bev Bunn, When Harvey Met Chester, a kids' chapter book about two cheeky little schnoodles. One of them is distinctly put out by the arrival of a new puppy into the family. From Chatham and Upchurch tonight. Fiona and Bev, thank you very much for being with us and being part of an incredible story of what happens during lockdown. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thanks, Dom. Bye-bye.
You're listening to BBC Radio Kent.